Welcome to the Traverse PC webinar on Traverse PC and Google Earth. Let me show you exactly what we're going to be diving into here. So this is a small subdivision that we worked on here. And let's take a look at how we would work with Google Earth here just real quickly. I'm going to go to File, Export. Traverse PC gives me an opportunity to save my file. I'm going to tell it that I want to export either a Google KML or KMZ. The only difference is file size. And then I'm going to take a look at what do I want to export. I just want this drawing. I don't want the entire survey. I just want this one drawing. And then I can give this file a name. There are also some settings here. I just have a couple turned on, and I've told Traverse PC to preview this after export, so it'll automatically pop me into Google Earth and fly me into that location. So let's go ahead and export this file, this drawing, and here's my Google Earth, and it's going to fly us in. Let's take a look. Okay, so here is this property in Google Earth. Imagine if you were working with the realtors who are selling these lots. All right, let's take a look. So I've got some sold lots. I've got various names on various lots here. So if I had sent this out to the realtors, they could be sending this out to potential clients where the potential clients could just take a look here and, oh, well, maybe I'm interested in lot 2. Let's find out more information about lot 2. Okay, it's a little under half an acre. Okay, well, I'd really like to see, what does it look like if I were standing on this lot? What would it look like? So let's come down here. Okay, so now I'm standing on this lot. I'm thinking about buying. These are some of the other lots around me. Go ahead and turn this way. Okay, so there's the lake view. Not all that great a lake view, and I think there's already a house across the street. Yeah, there's a house over here, so it's sticking up. It's blocking my view of the lake. So this lot really doesn't have a very good lake view. Now, Google Earth doesn't, their images are not three-dimensional, so this house that's here is not shown actually blocking my view. Well, let's go take a look at some of these other lots. Okay, so let's take a look at this one right here. Whoa, let's back up just a bit. Okay, how big is this lot? This is, well, a little over half an acre. Let's go ahead and take a look. What's my view look like? There's a pretty good lake view. Now here's that house that's next door. It's going to be cutting off a part of my view, and who knows what they're going to build on this lot down here. So I'm liable to lose a part of my view, but I'll still have part of my view. Well, I really want an uninterrupted view. I'll come down here. Let's take a look at from this lot right here, this lot 11. What do we know about it? Well, this is about 2/3 of an acre with a great unspoiled view. Nobody's going to be blocking my view of the lake. All right, so there's a couple other lots here that nobody's going to be building in front of me. So let's take a look at this one. So lot 12. All right, we've got 2/3 of an acre here. Uphill, there'll be houses down here. Oh man, I've got a nice lake view. Yeah, nobody's going to be blocking my view of the lake. Now there's one more lot over here. Let's go take a look at this lot 9. All right, so here's my lot 9. Let's see. Okay, well, this is almost an acre. If I'm looking for a larger lot, maybe this lot 9 is the one I want. So let's take a look at our view here. Got a really nice view of the lake. Yeah, this should be, I think I want this lot. All right, that was just one example of what you might want to use Google Earth files for. It gives you more options as deliverables for your clients. It may be, maybe you just are doing a simple lot survey for the folks down the street. Well, you could send them a KML file, and mom and pop there, they really get a kick out of showing it to their kids. Oh, here's our lot, and have it fly into Google Earth. So I've got a lot of customers who use it in their forestry practices. So I'm sure there are a lot of things you can think of what you may use Google Earth for. let's take a closer look now at Google Earth itself. I'm going to go ahead and relaunch my Google Earth. And I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, if you go out on the internet and search for Google Earth download, if you don't already have Google Earth, go out and search for Google Earth download and you'll find the Google Earth Pro download available. It costs you nothing. A couple of things I want to point out in here. As surveyors, one of the things that drives me nuts in Google Earth is one of the default settings. If I go to Tools and choose Options, there are a lot of settings here. In the navigation, the default setting is set to automatically tilt and enter ground view level as I zoom in. Now, as a surveyor, I don't typically want to enter ground view level. I don't want my north to be rotated and things like that. So I set mine to do not automatically tilt while zooming. All right. You can also change your fly-in speed and your mouse wheel speed as far as moving around and stuff. But this is the critical piece for me anyhow. I tell it don't automatically tilt. All right. Now, another thing to be aware of, if you get into something and you are tilted, north is who knows where, and it's been tilted, all that stuff, if you go to View, go down to Reset, you can reset both tilt and compass so that you're looking directly down on the property and north is where it ought to be. All right. So this is, those are some important things to know about Google Earth itself. Also, if I go to File, if I'm working on a property, I can go to File, I can come down and choose Save, and I can save an image. So if I get it in Google Earth looking exactly the way I want it, I can save this as an image then to use in Traverse PC or various other places. So that's Google Earth itself. A couple of key things that you may want to be aware of. Before we dig into everything that we can do when interfacing with Google Earth, it's important for you to realize that you have to have real-world coordinates in order to interface properly with Google Earth. If you're not set up on real-world coordinates, Google Earth will have no idea where to put your data, when you're bringing stuff in from Google Earth, you need to, once again, have your survey set up to those real-world coordinates. If we take a look at this file, if we go to Tools, Survey Information, on the Coordinate Reference System tab, we have it set to N8083 and the Oregon South Zone. So you will be setting this to whatever is the appropriate coordinate reference system for your job, and then those coordinates must be in the correct location. And you can see here that we have the state plane coordinates. If we format this view to display it, we can display the latitude and longitude of these points here in the Points Manager as well. Without real-world coordinates, you are not going to have the correct information. And if you bring, and I just entered that wrong, don't know why I put in YZ. It should have been YX. Now we have the latitude and longitude displayed. Coming in from Google Earth, it's going to come in with the real world information. If you're bringing it into a file that is not set up for that, then Traverse PC won't know where in the world this is. So keep this in mind. You want to set up your file with the appropriate coordinate reference system and zone. As well, then all of your points need to be at the appropriate coordinates for that coordinate reference system. Let's take a look a deeper look at Travers PC's end of things here. Now, as you all know, Travers PC is based on data, and everything we do is all about the data. What we see displayed in the drawing here, that's all data, and it's controlled by the various traverses are telling Travers PC how to draw these various lots. In addition, we do have a surface in this file. We could turn it on so we can see the original ground surface. Whatever we want to do here, everything that we're looking at is data. So be aware of this. So I can do various things here, set up various lines and point symbols and all of this. Now, when I go and export this to Google Earth, if I go to File, Export, first of all, what do I want to export? Now I can export the entire survey, so everything that's in it, or I can export various portions of it. I can select various points or certain traverses to export, or the particular drawing. So it's totally up to you what you export. As for the file types, we have two possible Google Earth file types. We've got the KML and a KMZ. Now, the only difference between these two is that the KMZ is a compressed file. It's a zipped version of the KML. If size is an issue, use KMZ. Really, in most cases, it probably doesn't matter. Now, your export settings, wherever you see this little gear icon in Travers PC, it's settings for whatever it's next to. So right now, it's the Google Earth KML export settings. So what I exported earlier, I exported line color and width, I exported the fills, and the opacity on the fills was at 50%. Point label size of 1, point icon size of 1, and I told it to preview after export. Now, let's talk about these various options. So if I'm using different kinds of lines in my drawing, different colors and line weights and stuff, do I want that to show up in Google Earth? Yes or no? All right. Now, do I want my traverse points to be visible? We didn't do this before. Let's go ahead and turn that on so that the points that are in these traverses will also show up in Google Earth. Do I want all the points in the point folder visible? No, that's just our traverse points. Now, I've got the surface turned on. Do I want to see tin lines, break lines? I can turn those on if I choose to. And do I want to see traverse line data? Let's go ahead and turn this on as well. Exporting my fills, how solid do I want them? What we saw earlier, that was a 50% or a 50 setting. Let's just run this down to 25. I don't know if you'll notice the difference, but these fills are not going to be quite as dense. It'll be more easy to see the underlying ground. So you're going to set that to what works best for you. Point label size, point icon size, this is just an arbitrary number. Yeah, and you'll see in Google Earth, as we zoom around here, you'll see that this is just a fixed size. So if I don't like them that big, I make the number smaller. If I want them bigger, I make it larger. Totally up to you how you set that up. And then preview after export. Yes, I wanted to launch this file in Google Earth for me automatically so I can see how it looks. I'll go ahead and choose OK. Remember, we've told it I want just this drawing, a KML file. We've set our settings, and then I'll give it a name. I'm going to go ahead and give this a new name so that we'll be able to compare. We'll be able to open both of these and compare them and see how the changes made a difference. So I'll go ahead and export this file. It pops up my Google Earth and it flies us once again into that area. Now notice, big change right off the bat. What are all of these circles with L's and, you know, oh man, what a mess. Well, what you're seeing, and as I zoom in, you see this is that size I was talking about. This is a size of 1. If those are too big, I make them smaller. See, and here are my point symbols. This is my line information. This is a curve. Line, curve. All right, if there were spirals in here, they'd have an S on them. So you can see my surface in here, all of this stuff that is being controlled by how I exported it. All right, so what's here? Now, Traverse PC is all about the data. We're all about the data. When I export this lot, how much data do I want? Well, I told Traverse PC in my lot labels in Traverse PC, I wanted the Traverse name, square footage, and acreage. Well, so that's what I get in Google Earth. What about our lines? Okay, I want to know about this line. Well, this line, here's my line data. Here's what points it's going between, as well as their information. So it's all about the data. What about, there were some curves down here. Let's take a look at a curve. All right, so here is all of my curve information, my radius, arc length, all of this. It's all about the data, and it's totally up to you how much you want to send out when you export this stuff. We're all about the data. All right, our point symbols, you'll see different point symbols on different points. So depending on my traverse settings determines what point symbols show up out here. All right, we have a library of point symbols that are supported in Google Earth. Okay, now you see how much information we can put out here. All right, it's totally up to you what you include, what you don't include. Even if you do include it, over here in this places area, you can access various stuff. So if I expand this, this came into my temporary places, and I could save it as a permanent place. Once again, totally up to you. So here's this file that I've opened. Now I can turn things on and off. Okay, in the drawing. Okay, under 0. What's under 0? Bunch of text, bunch of lines, so I can turn this stuff on and off if I choose to. I could turn that whole thing on or off, whatever's in it. Okay, my traverses, I can expand this. Here are the traverses that we exported, and I can turn these various traverses on or off. So lot 10, lot 9, all right, so let's turn off lot 9, let's turn off lot 10, and they disappear from this file. So let's say, well, I don't want to see the ones that are already sold. Let's just turn off the ones that are already sold. I don't even want to see them in Google Earth. So I simply turn off those sold ones. All right. Scroll down some more here. Actually, let's just shrink this up a little bit. Let's unexpand that. Here's our surface. What do we want to see on the surface? Well, it's the original ground. Let's expand that. Okay, so I can turn major contours on or off. Let's turn off the minors. All right, or turn off the entire surface if I want. Or go in, turn on my break lines and tin lines. Once again, totally up to you. Same thing under points. I can expand my points and have access to all these points. If I click on one of these, it'll give me the information about it, point 105. And it'll take me to that in the drawing. So you can click on this stuff either in this pane over here or in the drawing itself. So if I click on this point over here, there we go, 736B, it gives me that information. Or if I click on 736B, if I find it in the list, I'd have to scroll down a ways, I can get the same information over here. So Traverse PC is all about the data, and I'm not finding it right off, but you see what we're talking about. We're all about the data, and That includes in Google Earth. We're not just sending out pretty lines. We're sending out useful information that people can use. Let's take a look now at the differences between these two files that we've exported to this drawing based on the different settings that we had in Traverse PC. So this is the last file that we exported. I'm just going to go up and collapse this so we don't have all of this stuff showing. So I'm just going to collapse that last file we exported. Now, if I go to File, I can open a file. And in this case, these files are in my Surveys folder. And here's the one we exported a little bit ago. Now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to turn off the one we were just looking at. Here's the one we exported originally. All right, so you see the difference in how they appear in Google Earth based on the various settings inside Traverse PC. Let's take a look at importing a file from Google Earth. So at this point, I'm going to start a new job. Sure, let's go ahead and save it. And the very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give this an appropriate file name. So I'm going to say import Google Earth. The very next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to choose the appropriate coordinate reference system for the data that I'm bringing in, whatever coordinate reference system it may be. Keep in mind that you can set up your own coordinate reference systems, and you can add coordinate reference systems, and if we don't have something in here that works for you, simply let us know. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose N8083, and in this case, the Oregon South zone. So I'm just telling Traverse PC where this data will be. And I can, I'll go ahead and choose US Survey Foot because that's where I am. And we'll go ahead and say OK. So we now have a totally empty survey, no points, no nothing in it. If we take a look, we don't have any traverses, no points, no drawings, nothing. All right, so let's go ahead and import a file. So I'm going to go to File, Import, and I want to import a Google KML file. Once again, here's the settings for that. So I hit here. I can have it create a report of the import. I'm not going to worry about the rest of the settings. I'm just going to have it create a report. Now I'll go ahead and browse for the file I want to bring in. Let's go ahead and bring in that last one we exported and import. So Traverse PC has read through this. It's created 29 traverses, 222 points. It's created a surface. Here's the report on what it did as far as latitude and longitude. At this point, we could go ahead and take a look at our traverses. Got a bunch of traverses. Notice our names match up to what we had in that file. Let's create a drawing for that. I'll go ahead and actually, I already have a drawing. And here are all of those traverses. Notice that they're drawn the way they were in our exported KML file. So if you're importing a KML file that was created by somebody using Traverse PC, you'll bring in the stuff that they had in Traverse PC. If you're importing from another source, someone who doesn't have Traverse PC, it will come in for you. Obviously, you won't have as much information as you would from a Traverse PC KML file because other software simply does not include all of the data and all of the detail that Traverse PC does when we export a file to Google Earth. Now we're going to take a look at one more thing here on what you can do with Google Earth. Now this is for the United States. However, they're most likely similar things for other countries, other locations around the world. So I've brought up the Traverse PC Learning Center, and I've come to the Google Earth tab. If you're not familiar with the Traverse PC Learning Center, there are well over 300 videos out here about all different kinds of things. Simply go to the appropriate tab, scroll down, and you'll see the various areas. And I'm going to open Google Earth Resources, and I'm going to click on USGS Quads to Google Earth. So this is how you can bring in the USGS quads into Google Earth. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this page tells us that this runs in Google Earth, and they tell you to download Google Earth. So here's a link to the download, and then download quads and come back to this page. So I'm going to download quads right here. So I've downloaded quads. This is a KML file. It came in, this is Google Chrome, so it's right down here. Depending on what browser you use, you'll have to figure out where that download is. It's usually in your computer in the downloads folder. However, your browser may do something different. Different browsers display it differently. Now this is a KML file, so I'm just going to click on it here, and it brings up my Google Earth. And as you can see right over here, it has opened this file. Now I can display various things just as you can with our Traverse PC files. So if I want to display the topo, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And now I'm seeing the USGS quad underlaid under the information that I've exported from Traverse PC. So this is how I can add these Google Earth quads into, or these USGS quads into Google Earth to work in conjunction with my data. So this may be very useful to you. At the end, once again, at this point, I could do a file and save as an image for use in various places. So that's it for Google Earth and Traverse PC and how they work together. As you can see, as always with Traverse PC, it's the data. We're always about the data. We always come at things from the point of view of the data. And when we send people our data, they get data. We're not just creating pretty pictures. We do create beautiful drawings, but we're not just about creating drawings. It's all about the data. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you joining me, and I look forward to working with you in whatever projects you may be working on in the future.